It was too close for comfort, but the Dallas Stars hang on for a 4-3 victory over the Edmonton Oilers, built off a Jason Robertson natural hat trick in the second period. But head coach Pete DeBoer is not thrilled with his team's play. Find out more next.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Live from the El Paso Event Center this morning, where I just got off a bus after about a 10-hour trip, and I'm ready to rock and roll for this Thursday edition of Locked On Stars, where Jason Robertson last night, his second natural hat trick of the season in a 4-3 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. But head coach Pete DeBoer was not really thrilled with his team's play. We'll get to that in just a moment. We have to talk about some of the highlights and some of the positives from the win. And we get to preview the Calgary Flames and play Shooting Star before we get you out of here. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. Always a pleasure to be with you guys. And I want to start with head coach Pete DeBoer's comments from last night, because they're very telling, and he was upset after a lackluster third period that allowed Edmonton to pull themselves back into the contest. Dallas went into the third period up 4-0. They end up getting outshot 17-5. They do hang on for the 2 points, but here's head coach Pete DeBoer following the win.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard league to win in, and I haven't had many disappointing wins in my career, but this would be one of them. I thought we played a really immature, sloppy game tonight, especially in the first and third, and it's concerning. It's late in the season, playoffs around the corner, and it's a concerning trend here lately.
Could it be a good thing to go into Calgary right after this and try and wipe it off?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. You probably deserve to lose tonight. That might wake them up a little bit, but we'll see.
Immature and sloppy are the two adjectives Pete DeBoer uses to describe his team's play, and I think it's apropos. I think he hits the nail on the head. The first period is just inexcusable that the Stars continue to come out of the gates playing like that. They got outshot in the first period 14-5. They got outchanced 9-3, and there was just no real flow or rhythm to their game, especially between the blue lines. They could not put two passes together. Their puck management was awful, and I don't know why it's this repetitiveness of just the inability to get to their attack, to get past the red line and get in on the forecheck and make things happen offensively with the amount of weapons they have. And you have to give credit to Edmonton. They came out of the gates very well. But if 97 and 29 are playing last night, I don't think the Stars are in this contest. I think they get ran out of the building, especially with the amount of power plays they had. And albeit some of the calls were soft, but you hand a team 6 power plays, they're going to make you pay. And they struck a couple of times late in the third period, and thankfully the PK was great up to that point. Otherwise, the Stars are on the other side of this storyline. And I think it's really telling that Pete DeBoer said it's a disappointing win. And I think you can make that case for a few of the last victories for Dallas. And there's a lot of positives I want to get to, but you look at the first and third period specifically, that's been a consistent and worrying trend for myself, and I think a lot of Stars fans. They're going to get run out of the building in round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs if this continues to happen. And yes, they have some injuries, but for the most part, they're healthy right now. Like they have all their weapons available beside 4 and 91. And I know those are some giant pieces, especially number 4, but they still have a healthy Mikko Rantanen and Jason Robertson, who was excellent in the game, and we'll get to him because we have to praise him and how well he played. But my goodness, if they played that way with an Edmonton squad that had 97 and 29, it's lights out before the first period. I truly believe that, but you have to give them credit. They buckled down. They had a strong second period, and they come out with a victory. And look, we're not going to apologize for 2 points, especially on the road. So let's dive into some of the positives. I mean, Jason Robertson has been on an absolute tear. 29 points since the Four Nations break. He's just scoring at will right now, and he picks up another 3 goals in the second period, another natural hat trick this season. And one of the positives I took out of the contest was the top line looked to find some chemistry. They looked like they're starting to gel a little bit more here and there. Mikko looks really comfortable. He's starting to find his spots. He's starting to get in those scoring areas. Skinner stoned him on the power play, but boy, he had a couple of point blank chances that once he starts finishing, it's going to be lights out. Hintz was incredible in this one. I know Robertson gets a lot of the headlines for the hat trick, but Rope Hintz with 3 assists was just incredible in really all 3 phases of the game in all 3 zones, making things happen. And look, the Stars got I think a couple of breaks in that second period too, especially the second Robertson goal. But I loved his second goal of the night when he was just a bit selfish. It was a 2-on-1 with him and Mikko, and the defenseman played it well. He took away the pass, but Robertson didn't even look at 96. He buried his head and ripped it through the 5-hole of Skinner. And that's what the top line needs to get to. They need to be a bit more selfish. I know they're wanting to get Mikko involved. He'll be fine. Rantanen's going to get his. Everybody's going to get his on the top line. Everybody will if they don't force the issue and just be a bit selfish here and there. And I love to see that from Robo to bury his second of the night. And then the power play goal was just clinical on the 5-on-3. The Stars had 13 seconds to work with. Harley, boom, off the stick of a cutting Robertson. He deflects it in, and a big time tally, and it proved to be the game winner at that point after Edmonton made a push late. I mean, way too many penalties again, though. 14 penalty minutes, and I get it. Some of them were soft, but when you don't have possession and you're not playing with the puck and you're not playing with urgency and playing with pace and you're defending constantly, you're going to take penalties. And teams are going to get rewarded for having the puck on their stick and dictating play like Edmonton was in that third period. If you don't want to get caught in this limbo of worrying about the stripes and referees, well, get to your game then. How about you play with the puck? How about you get on the attack instead of getting outshot 14-5? And yes, I agree. Some of the calls were soft, but you have to start dictating. You can't defend for a full 20 minutes against anybody in this league. You're just playing with fire, and that's what they did in the third period, which was upsetting. But Robertson in the top line looked healthy, and that was a great sign. Rantanen especially, I just love his game. I know he doesn't jump off the page, but he's just so sly and he's silky out there. Makes a lot of heady plays. I mean, the play he made when he was falling down, he's able to sweep it in front to Rope, which led to Robertson's first goal of the night. Another positive, and we can't forget about this. I should have mentioned Jake Oettinger was just fantastic. I mean, superb again. Unfortunately, the Stars let him down in the final 20 minutes because he deserved another shutout in this one. He was spectacular. He ends up with 41 saves on the night. I mean, he was just sharp, turning everything aside in the first period. I'll say it again. He faced 14 shots in the first period. And Edmonton had some looks. They ended up outchancing the Stars at 5-on-5, 23-21. Again, this wasn't a dominating performance by the Stars at any stretch, even though they had a 4-0 lead at one point. It was just really odd when Dallas had a 2-0 lead. it really didn't feel like it based off how they were playing. And they have to thank Jake Oettinger for that. He was spectacular. He ended up with an expected goals against of 4.46. And was spectacular, huge on the PK, especially early in those first two power plays. I think the Oilers ended up with probably about 6-7 shots, about half a dozen shots, and he came up with big save after big save. And look, you need that out of your netminder, and if he wants to be elite, you're going to need those type of nights when your team's just not playing well. And he flipped the switch, and he was phenomenal in the contest. And if it wasn't for him, the Stars may have surrendered 6 in the game based off how they were playing. And I'll say it again, just a lack of urgency and disinterested is the word I keep coming back to describe it. That third and first period, and I feel almost vindicated that Pete DeBoer is saying he's disappointed, immature, sloppy. Those are some pretty strong words from your head coach in a victory on the road, but it's just simply not good enough. And I know he probably went in the locker room after and said, "You're fortunate their two best players were off the ice, because you would have gotten smoked tonight if they were playing." I believe that, and I hate to be that way following a win and a hat trick of all things, but it's not sustainable the way the Stars are playing. That's why it matters. It's not sustainable, and they're not going to get anywhere in the postseason playing this way, in my opinion. And I think a lot of you would agree with that. So there's my take. Those are my takeaways from a victory on the road. It's 2 points. It's 2 points. I want to apologize for it, but Jake Oettinger was great. Robertson has a heck of a second period, and there you go. You take it and run, and now you take on a Calgary Flames team tonight fighting for their lives to stay in the playoffs. Let's preview the Flames in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Trade Coffee. If you're like me, your mornings have to start with a good cup of coffee, but you get tired of settling for grocery store brands that just aren't cutting it. That's why you can turn to Trade, and let me tell you, the coffee is next level. Trade is the #1 specialty coffee marketplace in the U.S., bringing you fresh coffee from over 50 of your country's top roasters. Their experts have taste tested thousands of coffees, curating over 450 amazing roasts. Whether you're new to coffee or know exactly what you like, they'll handpick the perfect match for you. Your first bag can be a game changer. It's smooth, rich flavor, could actually taste the difference from that usual coffee. The subscription makes it so easy. No more last-minute grocery store runs or settling for whatever is on the shelf. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com/lockedonnhl. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/lockedonnhl for 40% off your first order. Drinktrade.com/lockedonnhl. I apologize for the really poor lighting in the video quality today. If you're watching on YouTube, and if I sound a bit groggy, I didn't get a lick of sleep on the bus. Could not get comfortable, but we're pushing through today. A little bit of adversity on opening day as well for the Texas Rangers. So very, very excited for that. Great time to be a sports fan in the month of March, and the playoff race is heating up. And Calgary is a part of that race, and was a team that I think a lot of people pointed to having maybe a down year, but they're fifth in the Pacific. They're 34-25-11. They got a big 4-3 win over Seattle a couple of nights ago, and they're hanging in there. They're 4 or 5 points back of the second wild card, which is currently held by St. Louis, who has been on a tear. They've had the best record since the Four Nations face-off. They've been just phenomenal. And Calgary does have 3 games in hand, however. So this is a big one for the Flames if they want to make some noise here the rest of the way. Dallas has taken 2 out of the first 2 meetings this season, and they're being led by Nazem Kadri and Jonathan Huberdeau, who are having pretty nice seasons. Huberdeau with 57 points. Maybe it's not the season you want for the contract he's been given, but they're also really, really stable because of their goaltender and Dustin Wolf, who's been incredible. The rookie, 24, 14, and 5 this season, 911 save percentage, and 2.64 goals against. They're riding him very heavy right now. They've won 4 in a row, so they come in hot. This is a team that's starting to make a push, and they're in desperation mode. This is going to be a dangerous team for Dallas to play tonight, especially on the back end of a back-to-back. So Casey DeSmith will more than likely have his work cut out for him. Good news is Casey DeSmith has been brilliant in these spots. This is a desperate hockey team trying to make the playoffs, and they've won 4 in a row against good teams too. New York, New Jersey. They got the Islanders in Seattle. Like, those are fine teams, and it's going to be a heck of a test for Dallas tonight. But Huberdeau and Kadri are their offensive weapons. They do have some depth that just hasn't been scoring a ton. Connor Zary is a young center iceman that always seems to play really good against Dallas, so be on the lookout for him. If Dallas shows up the way they played last night, it could get pretty ugly in a hurry. So the Stars have to wake up, and it may be a good thing they played last night, already have their legs moving, they get in, and they can just go to work in that first period. And they need to play a really simple style, simple attack to begin this one. Just get pucks in and spend as much time in the offensive zone as possible. Dallas can't spend 20 minutes defending, and they got to stay out of the box. They're just taking way too many penalties and infractions lately. And a Flames power play, that's all right, about middle of the pack at 21%. Their PK's not very good. They don't win a lot of draws, so Dallas, in theory, should have possession, should be playing with the puck more often, and they can hopefully get to their 5-on-5 game, which has been a real struggle. Their power play yesterday really aided them. That they got a couple power plays late in that second period, and that sort of allowed them to hold on and I guess capitalize on what they had done at 5-on-5 for the most part. And they got away from that in the third period following a few of those power play opportunities. So this is a big contest for the Flames, who need a win, and Dallas, who really may just have to kind of hang on and hang in this one and just find a way to stay within striking distance. I feel really good about the top line tonight. They I think did wonders for themselves yesterday. You could tell that it's starting to click a bit more, and they continued to mention it on the TNT broadcast that DeBoer wants to let that top line marinate a bit, which I'm all on board for. Just allow them to get in sync. You can see they're fighting it every once in a while, but last night I think they looked like more of a unit, more of a cohesive trio that was thinking with one mind, and that's just going to come with time. And they seem to be really chatty on the bench, which I think is a great sign. Like, Rantanen is doing his part to try to get in sync with Robo and Rope, how they think about the game. And you're starting to see some of the chemistry come to fruition. And look out, if that happens, they're going to be a handful. And they already are, because they're just so dangerous as individuals. But once they start playing together, as basically a triple head trio, it's going to be lights out for the rest of the NHL. So it'll be a fun game, I believe, but there's going to be some anxious moments if Dallas doesn't move their feet and play a style of game that will give them the best chance to win here on a back-to-back. So look, you're going to have to get good goaltending. That's usually what you need in these spots. And DeSmith has been brilliant, but they're going to need some of their big boys to show up again. And, I thought for the most part, outside of the first and third period yesterday, like, the lines looked okay. I thought there were some good shifts, especially from Duchesne. He was great too. He's someone I need to point out over the last week or so. Has really stepped up his game. I think he's taken it upon himself to try to be a leader and lead by example, especially with his play. He was so patient yesterday on some of his entries. He's so good at creating space for himself. I say this all the time. He can create his own shots because of his ability to just delay and be patient and make things and create for others. And he did a few of those plays yesterday. Just getting guys open and making the correct pass and holding on to possession when he could easily just given it away and change. But he holds on possession, hands it off to a line mate, and then the Stars can get to their attack. So I thought he was great. Jamie Benn looks really good. I was hoping he was going to get his 400th last night. Thought he probably deserved one, but he did get an assist on that Johnston goal to start the game, which was nifty little roof from Johnston to open the scoring. I kind of glossed over it, but that was a pretty goal from Johnston, who is, quietly, him and Robo are going off. Robertson's the first guy to hit 30 goals this season in Dallas. Johnson's right behind him at 27. Feels like he's going to get there in a hurry too. So I just hope they can improve on some of the positives, but they need to get whatever this lack of urgency is out of their game quick, because it gets ugly. And that first period especially, just they look so inept sometimes. It's like, I can't believe this team is second in the Central. But fortunately, this has just been more of a recent trend than it has been all season long. But my goodness, sometimes it is just awful and really hard to watch. So, speaking of that, let's jump into a shooting star pick. Who's not going to be in net tonight for the Stars? Let me know your shooting star pick in the comments below. And, of course, vote via the YouTube community tab. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored job puts your post at the top of the page, help you reach the right candidates faster. Sometimes you're in this spot as a business owner. You need to hire someone like yesterday. Pressure's on, and every day without the right person can be a setback. That's why you need Indeed sponsored jobs. They come in handy. They make sure you get the right candidates that match your resume and job requirements, or the resume that matches the job requirements. That's what it's about. Now you can speed up the hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need. Once again, I apologize for any of the background effects. The Ice Rays practicing currently, and we don't have a hotel or anything right now, so this is what we have to do. So it's going to be a bit loud at some point, but Ice Rays playing pretty well here over the last few weeks or so. So give them a shout out as they head towards the playoffs as well. Back in the playoffs for the first time since 2019. I don't talk about it a ton, but if I can, like to give our boys a shout out. Anyways, for those of you that do not care about that, let's jump into Shooting Star for this Thursday, March 27th. Stars versus Flames tonight. I thought Jamie Benn was going to get the milestone yesterday, but it did not happen. Jason Robertson decided to steal the show with a hat trick. So who am I going to go with tonight? Man, it feels like there's a lot of good choices. Can always go with that top line. I don't feel like they're going to have the magic touch. I'm going to go with Marchment. I feel like it's been a while for him, and he's playing so well, and think he needs to get rewarded. Maybe this is the night he gets rewarded in Calgary. So give me Mason Marchment as my shooting star pick for tonight. Y'all went with Jamie Benn as well yesterday. Unfortunately, that flopped, although he did pick up an assist. So I'm going to go with Mason Marchment tonight. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that may be new, I have a whole chart. I got an Excel spreadsheet with all the picks throughout all 82 games this season. We're going to see how many we get right at the end of the year. The fans, you wonderful listeners, are going to absolutely destroy me. I'm actually dreading having to tally up the totals at the end of the season. But that's what I'm going with tonight. Mason Marchment for my shooting star pick. Stars versus Flames. There you go. Should be a fun one tonight. It's at 8 o'clock puck drop, I believe. I'm at Mountain Standard Time, so it's, I think, 6 o'clock here, but I believe it's 8 o'clock in Calgary, and or 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. It'll be on Victory Plus, which is, God, that TNT broadcast yesterday was just awful, Stars fans. I don't know if y'all thought the same thing. I saw on Twitter a lot of you were syncing up Josh and Razor. I wish I could have done that because it was just awful, awful stuff all the way around from TNT. So there you go. That's my hottest take of the episode right here on Locked On Stars. I want to thank you, as always, for joining me today. Just kind of keeping this one short and sweet. We'll be back tomorrow. Fortunately, I should be more well-rested, and we'll end this week on a bang, hopefully with a Stars win to kick off this little Northwest road trip. And hopefully they can sweep the Canadian teams here on this trip. But that'll do it. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. We've been growing immensely, exponentially over the last month or so. So credit to all you guys, and thank you. I truly am grateful to be able to do this, and I love doing it, and appreciate all of you that listen on an everyday basis. Well, that's enough rambling for me. Have a great rest of your day, Stars fans. We'll see you tomorrow. So long.